Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. The information on today's program was gathered from many different places and many different people. If you hear yourself in our conversation today, it's not all about you. For speaking appearances or support, just give us a call at 727-422-1833 or send me an email, dick@ewfw.org. Today we're going to start a very important journey. We're going to start marching through the top 10 keys to success with teams. Now, this is going to be an important piece, and I have to understand why. The reason we put this together for you is we've realized all along that doing things by ourselves as leaders is a far mistake. And so this is what I want to say to you. A team will not make you rich and successful, but building and maintaining and training a team, will. We're going to start today and look at some serious things. First of all, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of who we are here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. My name is Dick Powell. My wife's name is Robin. And through over 40 years of marriage, our quest for knowledge on building a life and a family and a career and a business has not stopped. It's been an ongoing learning opportunity. Soon after Robin and I were married, we discovered that only one source of income would never satisfy our needs or wants. I had a talent for working with wood, and Robin had a talent for making things that were out of cloth or yarn. And we started to grow our own craft business and which gave way to another company designing and manufacturing custom t-shirts and other wearables. Again, we grew the t-shirt business and which gave way to the embroidery company. And all the while, we were perfecting our leadership instruction style and knowledge. We used the methods of instruction through the doing to share the adventures of leadership of the Boy Scouts of America. We did this while studying with Stephen Covey, Dennis Waitley, Jim Rohn, and John Maxwell. We learned by trial and error a lot of times. And some of our learning came from the loss of money on bad choices, some on the lack of patience, and some because we had no idea of who to go to ask. Through it all, we have built companies from the ground up, restored existing companies, and grew companies from million-dollar operations to multi-million-dollar success stories. We have worked alongside individuals, guiding them on the path they already sought, just didn't know how to make it happen. The knowledge we have, we want to share to shorten the adventure from zero to hero. Our vision is building authentic strategic success, BASS, B-A-S-S, through a hands-on process. Our mission here is to help support, coach, and mentor to bridge the gap between formal academia and the challenging real world. Our strategy is to use teaching, consulting, coaching, mentoring, and hands-on practical knowledge for you. All right, so let's get going. My wife Robin and I have built many teams in a business career that spans 40-odd years. From what we thought would be as simple to build teams involved with a nonprofit to large corporate sales teams selling items at a starting price of over $30,000. We've built teams in a variety of situations and places. Some have been more successful than others. And what we've learned repeatedly is that building the right team from the beginning follows a predictable pattern. A pattern we will share with you here today. There's nothing under the sun, as they say, and this is nothing new under the sun, as they say, and this is tried and true information we're going to share. When leaders we mentor follow this pattern, we have seen success repeatedly. We worked with a successful team that had driven their company to a 3 million mark. And we tell them what a great job. However, they could not push beyond that. They just couldn't break that barrier. We were hired, and after listening to and working on the production floor, we realized they did not have the right people in the right position to go where they wanted to go. With some simple retooling of job assignments, the company rose to 13 million in the next 3 years. They had built the team haphazardly, but once they started following the right pattern, they were able to quadruple their results. Write this down on your paper. Team, T-E-A-M. And I know that you've probably heard that together each achieves more. Well, here's what we put it down as. Together with enthusiasm and action, we make more money. Now, we changed it because that's what I truly believe. And I've seen it happen over and over. Leadership, leadership, leadership. Such an easy word to say. So there was once someone who asked, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? One of the oldest jokes in New York goes, the answer, of course, is practice, practice, practice. The only way to succeed in professional music is relentless focus on practice, as Malcolm Gladwell argued in his book, Outliers. It takes a minimum of 10,000 hours of practice to achieve true success in one's field. In business and entrepreneurism, however, the key to arriving is leadership, 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 which too takes practice, practice, practice. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It is what will make or break a team. Leadership means more than just assigning tasks to each team member. Leadership is about nurturing and coaching. Leadership is about providing the tools, knowledge, and shared experiences that lead to growth of the individual as well as the organization. Leadership is about replicating yourself, leaving a legacy, and multiplying the leadership ranks. Your number one job as a leader is to work yourself out of a job. So you should always be looking to replace yourself. In our experience, the most effective form of leadership is servant leadership. The term servant leadership means exactly what it sounds like, serving the individuals on the team and encouraging them to reach their full potential. It is not only the way to gain maximum influence with your team, but also the way to achieve the goals that you set together as a group. As the team, as the leader is, it is never all about you. It's always about them, their growth, their goals, their success. This leads to your own success through the efforts of the team. This is going to require vision, a future picture. You see, if you don't know where you're going, anywhere will do. You have to have a vision of where you're going if you want your team to succeed. One of the fundamental tasks of leadership is to set the vision for the team. What will the team's ideal future look like? Well, be specific in choosing of the words. In most cases, the leader will design the vision and afterwards choose the team members to fulfill that vision. A good leader will share his or her vision and then listen to input from the team to enhance the vision. This provides buy-in from the team members and buy-in that takes hold. The entire team will be working hard to achieve that vision. This process brings everyone on board as part of the visioning process. Now, this is important to think about. Even though the leader very well will put together a first thought process on the vision, it's the team that will sharpen that thought process and then, with the buy-in, bring it home. Take time every day to push forward on the team's vision. The vision of the team is the future picture drawn out to tell what the team will accomplish. This picture is best when it is visual, and everyone on the team has a part of the picture. It will need to be as complete as the team can make it. This will be a collaborative thinking at its best. Include everyone on the team in this opportunity. At the end of the day, evaluate and ask, did I stay true to the vision, the team's ideal future? Every decision is going to be passed through and that question to be asked. Now, often encourage everyone to have a mission, their purpose. Every team needs a mission. The mission is the purpose, the why we have assembled here as a team. This will be both individually as well as the whole of the team. The mission needs to be defined, needs to be specific, and extraordinarily clear. The mission will be ingrained as the purpose each member has in the process of accomplishing the vision. The mission, the purpose, needs to be verbalized, shared, and understood by each team member. Can they easily state what the main thing is and what the purpose the team has? And at the end of the day, need to evaluate and ask, did I stay true to the mission, the purpose? Again, every decision will pass through that question. Now, on the three-legged stool, you have your vision and mission, but you must have a strategy, the plan. The strategy is the plan. It is the how we will accomplish our mission and maintain the vision. It consists of the day-to-day actions. When executed, takes the team toward the end vision. Accountability is a huge part of this strategy. Everyone has a special gift or talent that can drive the team forward. With no accountability to the leader and the rest of the team happens, the objective will not be reached. Do you understand that? With no accountability to the leader and the rest of the team, without accountability, it's going to be hard to make that happen. Expectations are an important part of the team building process. When written in black and white, agreed to, and then shared with the team, it is the marking of a true winning team. The strategy is the moving parts and pieces. In this process, the list of exactly what needs to be completed and the timeline that hold the team accountable. If there is no plan, the plan is to fail. If there is no timeline, the plan is just a dream. No plan, no action, no success. Now, you've all heard about SMART goals, I'm sure, but let me remind you what we're talking about here. And that is this. What we're talking about is a huge part of the plan will be set the goals, use SMART goal system. Now, what is the SMART goal system? Well, remember that goals relate to vision and plans change, visions remain the same. We start off with the S on SMART, S-M-A-R-T. S stands for specific and significant. The more specific you are, the more likely you will accomplish the task. Your mind is a director of your actions. It only knows what you place there, and what you think about, write down, you will achieve. It must be significant to the vision and mission. M, measurable and meaningful. If the goal is not measurable, traceable, trackable, you cannot know if you've achieved the goal, or you're just floundering around and trying to make it happen. It is the meaningful to the vision and the mission. A, attainable, action-oriented. If the goal is not attainable, means looks good, feels good, you will not have the buy-in necessary to keep going when things get tough. There's always going to be action piece of the goal, both for the individual team member and the whole team. Remember, that both for an individual team member and the whole team directed at the vision and mission of the team. R stands for realistic and relevant. Realistic goals are those you can actually do. I would like to be an astronaut, I once said. However, at the age of 62, it was just not realistic. It has to be relevant to the vision and the mission. T stands for time-bound and trackable. Goals must have a beginning and an end. With no time restrictions, they are just dreams. There must be trackable and accountable as to who is responsible for each part of the action, driving forward towards the vision and the mission. Now, in Jim Collins' book, he often talks about BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal. Well, I think that we can look at that. Getting the right people on the bus goes like this. In a blockbuster best-selling book about what makes incredible businesses good to great, author Jim Collins identifies the composition of teams as one of the key factors in an outstanding company success. Truly great companies focused on getting the right people on the bus, he said, before they tried to accomplish their vision, mission, and strategy. Before you train a team to be successful, you will need to find your team. You are not building a team, but the right team. You don't want a team filled with anyone who happens by or is warm to the touch and can fog a mirror. If someone walks up and says they want to join, be cautious. Make an interview list with what you are looking for in a great team member. I want to share a helpful hint about finding your ideal team. I know that what others have told you to do, build a list of 100 people you know and start with your friends and family. Stop, I tell you. Friends and family are not necessarily the best people for your team. They're sometimes the hardest convinced of your vision for your success and may have trouble seeing you in a new context. To build your team, you first need to have a strategy of what the team will be for what the vision will be. If you do not have the people who share, understand, and live the vision, they will not be right for your team. Therefore, first step is to get out there. Have defined criteria for selection. That is, know what seats need to be filled on the bus. Take the time to do the research. Ask the questions. Ask, are they coachable? Are they willing to learn? Were they producers in the past? Are they after the same goals as you? Did losing the paycheck lower their self-esteem? Where do people who are like-minded, willing to work, and are solvent hang out? Good question. What do they look like? Be specific. An example of this might be ages 25 to 45, female, educated moms, wants to work from home, enjoyed a career before marriage and children, go where they are needed, moms morning out, go where they're at for moms morning out at church, playgrounds, the malls, women's groups, grocery stores. Make a list and be like Santa, checking it twice. Now, I'm going to also put forth this next part. You see, we learned quite frankly that there was 6 things that really put together an opportunity for us to learn about the people on our team as well as ourselves. We learned that the best presenters that we could finally put in front of us and other people came from an exhibit from Martin Thielen. And Martin put this in front of us because it is so true. He said people who were the best presenters had these 6 qualities. And these 6 qualities, I have to tell you, are very true to it. To be a presenter, we found that enthusiasm was most important. I often told people that when I had the large corporation that I would hire for enthusiasm and I would teach for success. That was because I felt that I could teach anybody what they needed to do and how to do it. But if they didn't have the enthusiasm for what we were doing, and the vision that we were trying to accomplish. It just didn't matter. We found that the folks who were animated, when they did a presentation, that they were out front, they had a smile on their face, a song in their heart, and wind in their hair. They could actually smile as they put forth a story. We found that people were presenting for an opportunity on our corporation and yours. We found that telling stories sell and facts tell. But you need to know how to tell that best story. We found that people who were the best presenters were audience participation people. In other words, they didn't just stand up in front of the group and just speak. They actually got the audience involved. And they used a lot of spontaneity within the presentation. And sometimes that means they need to know their information enough to be doing things off the cuff and answer questions correctly. We found that the best presenters that we could possibly put into our world, and you can put into yours, are ones who can do it with no notes. That means that they have taken the time to learn your information and to be able to put it across without looking down all the time, reading word for word. And they had to have a sense of humor. You know, when you're out presenting to another group or to someone who is purchasing or looking at what you have to sell or what you're providing others, things don't always go like you have them planned. And you have to have a sense of humor on how that happens and to be able to move forward with it. When Martin Thielen told us about these 6 things we looked for in people, we started really educating ourselves on how that happened. And when we went through a process of bringing people on board, we oftentimes, you would use those 6 to look at. We would also go over and try and do our best to look at their learning styles. You see, each person has a different learning style. There's many of them, but they oftentimes have some that go together. There's 4 that we use constantly when we're looking at and working with people. These 4 are auditory, visual, verbal, visual, and physical. And these learning styles, quite frankly, will all fit into one or more or all of the categories, depending where we're at and what time of day it is and all those different type of things. Auditory means that you heard the word and immediately understood what was going on. Now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to understand that only 7 to 10% of people in the world really learn from auditory only, which means they can sit and listen to something and get every understanding of every word. Where visual people, well, they learn by basically getting a mental picture. They're very visual. They like to see pictures and places and graphs and charts and all those different types of things that go along with it. Auditory are oftentimes very bottom line. Just give me the facts, ma'am, nothing else. Now, a person who is verbal visual means that you get a mental picture of the word spelled out. A lot of times, this happens to people who are listening to you, but they're not making eye contact. They very well might be scribbling or taking notes or doodling. Doesn't mean they're not listening to you. It just means that they're listening in a different way. They hear the words, and that mental picture is spelling out the words in their mind. And of course, physical. This is the one that really means that they have to be moving. Their hands have to be moving to make their ears work. Meaning, physical means you get a feeling and had a muscular response. Tightening of the face or movement of the hands. People didn't understand that when I was listening to them, I had to be moving. My hand wasn't moving, my ears just didn't seem to work. And I was more of a physical, verbal, visual person than I was just an auditory. Make sure that when you're going through those 4 things, you need to learn all you can about them. Now, I want you to, after you've heard these things and you've kind of listened to the way to make a presentation, the people that you're looking through for with enthusiasm and animation, audience participation, spontaneity, no notes, and humor. And you've added to that the way that the individuals, their learning styles, and you've added to the auditory, visual, verbal, visual, and physical. I want you to know that you need to share the vision, mission, and strategy. And you need to look for that buy-in, make a date and a time for the conversation. Do not make a quick decision just to fill out your team. Take your time and build the right team. You see, this is so important that you take the time to build the right team. Now, we oftentimes are going to encourage to have team meetings. You have assembled your team, and it's the time for your first time to meet and greet all the team members in one place at one time. How you conduct this meeting will set the tone for everything that will come together for the life of the team. The ongoing learning, motivating each other, and teaching every member the duplication process of building a successful team for themselves. You see how important that is? We're working to build a team that's going to build teams. The first rule is start and stop on time. No excuses here. You are the leader. If you are late, they will do as you do. It is up to you to set the example. Stop on time. Be respectful of their lives and outside of the team. The second rule is have set times and dates for all meetings. This allows team members to plan for and be ready for the meeting. When will the next meeting be held? Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? Well, how often is necessary for your world? Conference calls are good, Skype, whatever you're going to do, make sure it stays consistent. The third rule is always have an agenda. And the agenda needs to be sent out ahead of time so everyone knows what will be discussed, learned, projects completed, and by whom. It also gives team members time to confer with one another to make sure that they're ready when they come to the meeting. And I encourage you to always follow the agenda. Now, a simple agenda could be as simple as this. Some kind of pre-opening. Arrive at least 15 minutes early to make sure that you are there to greet the very first person to arrive. Check out last-minute preparations, paperwork, and is there enough comfortable chairs, inspirational surroundings? How's the heat and air conditioning working? Checklists are your friend. This is also a time for chit-chat, camaraderie, and friendship as everyone comes in. Now, the opening, it needs to have a welcome and an inspirational thought to set the tone of your meeting. Introductions, of course, always are easy. Name, title, what did they bring to the table? Such as Wendy Winner's CEO, Winner Families LLC, knowledge on, answers, whatever. But make sure that everyone gets a chance to introduce themselves. Have some kind of instruction going on. Make sure that you still, during that instruction, go over the vision, mission, and strategy. This doesn't need to take a lot of time, by the way. Sharing, make sure the leader asks the team as individuals what they are struggling with. How can the team help them? Make sure someone takes notes. This is most important. Record all the opportunities and situations, asking who will be helping that person rise above the opportunity or situation. And of course, there's always action items. Now, if there's no action items that stem from meeting, you have wasted each other's times. Write them down. Put a time and a date they will be completed and by whom. Accountability is a huge piece of the building process. And then, of course, the closing. Thank everyone for attending and end with an inspirational thought. After the meeting, send out notes from the meeting, including the action items, who is responsible for the items, the date and time and the place of the next item, and make it happen. Well, we're come to the end of our time today, so I'm going to close up and tell you that we will continue with this at a later date. On behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. And if you have any comments or Questions, give us a call, 727-422-1833. Send us an email, dick@ewfw.org. And when you're ready for me to come out and give an opportunity speech to you, give us a call and we'll make it happen. And until next time, DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.